I'm sorry if I look down at my notes from time to time. I'm in kind of a hurry and I'm trying to do this in one take. I never wanted to talk about wokeism or transphobia or homophobia. I never wanted to sink my hands into the muck of the culture wars. There are reasons for that. First, I'm not entirely sure I know what woke means, beyond a catch-all term for whatever conservatives don't like. I've certainly never felt the urge to use it to describe myself or my actions. Second, I'm a married straight white dude, cis het. The queer community has many thoughtful and erudite voices. They certainly don't need me to do their talking for them. I'm fond of Emma Thorne's channel myself. Anyway, what would I say? I don't feel in any way threatened by the existence of the queer community or their quest for recognition. Right? I have no personal insights to offer on the trials of being gay or trans. Third, I don't know what the requirements are for membership in the Ally Brigade, but I'm just not sure I qualify. I don't do bumper stickers or pride flags. My social media posts just say what they say. I don't come with a stream of icons attached that let you know I support Ukraine and Black Lives Matter and Pride and Wiccans and furries and women. If you want to know what I think on a subject, ask. And if I want you to know, I'll tell you. Sure, I don't vote for theocratic fascists and other bigots with their book bans, gender-affirming care bans, abortion bans, drag show bans, and bathroom bills. But those same people are also terrible on healthcare and economics and science and history. Like, I wasn't going to vote for Marsha Blackburn because she's a batty old biddy who brings the average IQ in the state down by double digits every time she flies in from DC. I just don't think I should get extra brownie points for not voting for her because she's also a transphobic bigot. The fourth reason I didn't want to talk about all this culture war stuff is because I consider myself an old school lefty. Now, the new left is a different animal. They believe that by dismantling the culture and social hierarchies that preserve the existing power structures, they can eliminate the inequities that they prop up. Respect the goal, disagree with the methodology. When I say I'm an old school lefty, what I mean is I'm someone who believes that economic inequities and injustices are the source of all other inequities and injustices, particularly in a capitalist system. You can create a woke corporation, but you're still going to have a stratified economic system in which all the decisions are made by a wealthy few. On the other hand, I think the angst and anguish caused by cancel culture demonstrates the validity of my perspective. Progressives, finally with enough economic clout to do what Republicans have been telling us to do for years, vote with our dollars. They've been trying to replace capitalism they've been trying to replace democracy with capitalism since the advent of fiat currency. But when we start playing the game the way they say we should, they lose their damn minds. It's the end of free speech. I was, 9 or 10 when Reagan became president and began pushing a fiscal fantasy that was so deranged, even the person who would end up becoming his vice president, George Bush Sr., called it voodoo economics. What they were selling, I'll get to in a second, but how they were selling it created its own pathologies. First, they othered the government. The idea of a government made up of citizen legislators and elected by their fellow citizens was out. Forget Lincoln's conceit of the people, by the people, for the people. Big government is the enemy. Career politicians and corrupt bureaucrats only out for themselves. Next, they appeal to the greed of their audience. My taxes are too high. Are your taxes too high? I think that argument is best exemplified by James Brolin's character from The West Wing. He said, "The American people know how to spend their money better than the American government." Then they sell corruption. Obviously best exemplified by Ronald Reagan saying the 9 worst words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." With those arguments, they've spent the last 40 years convincing a plurality of American voters that the government that won 2 world wars, built the Panama Canal, the Hoover Dam, the Tennessee Valley Authority, the interstate highway system, won the Cold War, and put men on the moon, is the apex of incompetence. Now, I've always had problems with this line of argument. First, because there are governments in the world who provide health care, clean infrastructure, quality education, and a good general welfare program, and do it efficiently while maintaining a functional democracy. So we have to accept that, according to Republicans, Americans are either just bad at government or more corrupt than the rest of the developed world. Second, the dissonance that Republican voters have to ignore to vote for these people. Imagine if you ran a business and you were interviewing a prospective employee. And at the interview, he told you, "I think your business is corrupt and inefficient and bad for both its employees and its customers. And I believe the only way to mitigate the damage is to weaken it as much as possible. I want $400,000 a year plus health care and lodging and a $250,000 pension that's fully vested after 4 years. I can start on Tuesday." Would you hire the guy? That's exactly what Republican candidates have been saying in every campaign since 1979. You idiots keep voting for them. Why? What is the big lie that Republicans are selling with this whole government is bad storyline? Well, it's this, that the shiny USA of the middle 20th century, with great schools, safe streets, gleaming infrastructure, a place where it was great to be an American, if you are a white male, scientific innovation, art, industrial capacity, and the world's breadbasket, all built with a top marginal tax rate more than twice what it is today. If it were a hotel room, the USA of the 1950s would be the top floor suite at the Waldorf Astoria. All the perks and luxuries. Well, Republicans want you to believe that you can have all that, but for Motel 6 money. That's the lie. 40 years they've been selling it. Reagan, Gingrich, Laffer, Norquist, Koch. They've taken a bunch of normally sober, fiscally responsible conservatives who would accept you get what you pay for as an axiom and convinced them through some kind of multi-level marketing, bro-math, prosperity gospel bullshit that they can have Waldorf Astoria luxury on Motel 6 money. And they've been disturbingly successful. Of course, Democrats have been no help. Since Clinton, they've been running a neoliberal agenda where they steal the best bad ideas for the American economy from old school Republicans and pawn them off as their own. Together, they've shifted the Overton window so far to the right that simple human compassion is now regarded as proof that you're a communist. Congratulations, conservatives. You got your way. Look around at the country you've won. Schools more concerned with active shooter drills than math skills. Crumbling roads and bridges. Massive homelessness. This country you've bought for yourselves is no penthouse. Hell, it ain't even a nice clean Motel 6 twin. It's whatever you get for the tax dollar equivalent of $39 in a Groupon. And that's fine. If you want to live the discount life, there's no shame in it. I shop at the Dollar General. I'm Southern. But you need to lay off the greatest country in the world bullshit. I got this country for a steal. Was on clearance at the back of the planet. Is a different kind of flex, is all I'm saying. The point is, economics, fiscal policy. That's what a Gen X lefty like me wants to talk about. I'm a social democrat, for God's sake, and a Teamster. I don't know what gender fluid or gender queer are. I don't even know if they're different things. I don't want to fight the culture war. I want to grab a drink, pop some popcorn, and cheer from the sidelines. I want to, but I can't. First, people I know, people I care about are being hurt in the culture war. I have a friend with a trans kid who's having to leave the state, which I suppose is probably the point. You know, Outlanders out, Germany for Germans, Sieg Heil. Second, there isn't anything else. The culture war is all that there is now. Look, I believe in the pit of their coal black hearts that Republican apparatchiks are exactly what they've always been. Flag-waving vulture capitalists lining their pockets by short-selling America. But you wouldn't know it to listen to them. All they talk about these days is woke this and woke that. Here's a thought experiment for you. Name a Republican policy that isn't about scapegoating a marginalized group. I don't mean go to a GOP website and dig around till you find a position paper written by some bow tie wearing policy wonk lent to the RNC by Cato or the Hoover Institute. I'm talking about what Republicans say on television, what they post on social media. What do you know about Republican policies based on that? Because I'm in East Tennessee, the land of Marsha Blackburn and Bigfoot Tim Burchett. My county mayor is a professional wrestler, Kane, goddamn Glenn Jacobs. And I follow all of these idiots on Twitter. What I know about Republican politics from a careful reading of their social media is this. Trump is the second coming, and Democrats are the Pharisees. Any history that includes actual facts and events is a Marxist plot designed to make white people feel ashamed of themselves. Which is weird to me because all the actual dyed-in-the-wool Marxists that I know personally are white. Climate change is a globalist plot to bring about a one-world government by raising the price of gas? I don't know. Evolution is an atheist plot to make Christians lose their faith. Vaccines are a big pharma conspiracy designed to keep us sick so they can sell us more drugs. Trans women are just predatory men who pretend in order to get into girls' bathrooms. But somehow, trans women are also mentally ill men being taken advantage of by doctors. Doctors who are depraved vivisectionists who get their kicks mutilating the bodies of confused young boys. Democrats are for open borders, and you can tell this by the huge jump in the volume of drug seizures by the Border Patrol. Oh, and gay people, teachers, librarians, drag queens, and books are all groomers trying to prime your children for later victimhood and abuse. That's it. That's the Republican scapegoating policy. Hell, other than Burchett's obsession with the government's hiding proof of aliens, it's all they talk about. And the scariest part, being a lefty, is that the only people mounting a serious challenge to this garbage are a bunch of geriatric liberal capitalists who snuck out of the day room at the nursing home. Hi, Biden. So the culture wars are the only game in town. I guess I better brush up on my pronouns. But as an old school lefty, let me just leave you with, you get what you pay for really is an axiom. And the history of this country shows that a higher top marginal tax rate doesn't just make for better education and infrastructure. It actually leads to less concentration of wealth and a more prosperous middle class with more disposable income. And even the billionaires who have to pay more get the benefit of living in a safer, cleaner, wealthier, less divided country. Like that's ever going to happen. I hope you had a safe and enjoyable Independence Day, and in the immortal words of Chuck D, fight the power. I'm Kevin, and these are my rambling, incoherent, but very sinister thoughts.